But it's Wigan who are through to face Southampton in the quarter-finals. Manchester City are out. Lots of different talking points in this game. Let's just focus on the overall match.
Yeah.
Strong shot, one goal. Manchester City out.
I mean, Paul Cook is doing a good job at Wigan, right? But strong team from City. They would probably have won this game, I think. It's not stating anything out of the obvious, but Delph's challenge was stupid. Now, we've talked about challenges on the City players quite a lot in this show because there has been a lot of bad ones. This was a bad one from a City player. The Wigan player's a little lucky that he missed them because his boot was high, probably around halfway up the shin, and it could have been dangerous. So, no qualms, it was a straight red.
But it seemed to be the players that gave him the red card as opposed to the referee. Anthony Taylor initially getting the yellow, and it just seemed to be the players persuaded him to eventually send Delph off.
Anthony Taylor is going to have to be the one who answers to that, because without question, he did have the yellow card out. It seemed to be showing, and you thought that was yellow. But from the time the challenge came in, as I mentioned in the highlight, this had all the hallmarks of being a red card. Why the referee then changes his mind, again, that's for him to explain. But it's a red. And Pep Guardiola, for all his complaints, and he's right, he said when he was complaining about the challenges on his players, this wasn't about protecting the good players. This wasn't about protecting the City players. It was about protecting all the players. And as a result, Wigan players have to be protected. That was an awful challenge and deserving of a red.
You know, you see football committees in particular trying to enforce respect the referee. You know that his decision is final. But you can understand why players do that because it obviously makes a difference.
Of course it does.
If the Wigan players didn't do anything,
and of course it does. And referees are human. And so when they see that reaction, they're like, oh my goodness, did I mess this up? Now you start doubting your first decision. Because his first decision was to bring out the yellow card. And then once he sees that reaction, there's a little bit of pressure. Players are all around you. You think to yourself, that was actually bad enough. Here comes the red. I think that's what Guardiola is upset about. Not the fact that he is given a red, but the fact that there was a yellow to come out, then the players get on top of the referee, and now here comes the red. The truth of the matter is that for any cup competition, in order for a lower league team to have an opportunity to beat a team like Manchester City, things like this need to happen. A red card, something that changes the natural course of the game. And then the natural course of the game changed because now it gives Wigan life. It gives them a reason to fight in the second half. And then they got the one shot, they scored the one goal, Manchester City came up short.
We should remember that referees work as... And the ref's always the focus, but they work as a team.
Sure.
Yes, the Wigan players were around them. I'm guessing what happened here was, through their earpiece, that either the referee assistant on that side or the fourth official has said to him, listen, you might need to have a rethink here. That was bad. And I think he's got it through his earpiece, and then he's taken a bit of time and he's changed his mind. I think Guardiola is upset by Paul Cook, but I think Paul Cook was gesticulating to the fourth official.
Yeah, he was giving the old...
He was giving it that, and I think that's what rattled the City manager. Now, we could probably go back in time with tapes at some other point and find Guardiola doing the same thing, because that's what managers do. You know, they're very hypocritical. But that's what fired him off, and then that's what ultimately was the little sort of...
So, tunnel bust-up, big deal or not? Obviously, it's gone viral.
There wasn't a bust-up. There wasn't a bust-up. It was
just an argument, just a...
Yeah, lots of people in there, no punches thrown as far as I can see. The City manager tried to talk to the Wigan manager. They're having a discussion. I don't think there was any bust-up at that point. I don't know.
And then he seems to charge at the referee as well, right at the end of the clip. It's just kind of... These are normal things that we just don't see.
In my opinion, yes. These things happen far more often than the game would like to admit. No punches were thrown, words were exchanged. Par for the course.
The difference is that more often than not, we don't get access to this view. We don't get access to what happens once they go into the tunnel. But clearly, there is some frustration from Guardiola's perspective. There's some frustration from the manager from Wigan, Paul Cook, as well. And so these things are going to happen. And the difference is that now we got to see it.
Under normal circumstances, I think, had that been the Premier League, I think they would be saying, because I haven't worked with the guys, the match directors and that, they're trying to get the cameras in there all the time, in dressing rooms, in tunnels, all this stuff. I think they would say, nah, no more, if it was a Premier League. I think the FA would normally do it, but this gives a little bit of juice to a competition that has been flagging. So ultimately, I think we might see some more cameras in these areas. But
Some more bust-ups.
Some more bust-ups. But had the FA Cup been flourishing, that would probably have been dragged.
Was this a simple equation as to why Manchester City didn't win? 11 against 10. It gave Wigan 11 players.
Well, they defended well, and City's... Until when De Bruyne came on, they started putting some really clever balls in, as you'd expect, right foot, left foot. But they were a little sloppy in the final third, and it's difficult to break these lower league teams down. Sometimes the guys are fighting. It's their big day. It's their big day. They're playing the best team in England, and it's difficult sometimes to break them down.
When you're a team like Wigan, you go out there saying, let's just give ourselves a chance. Keep ourselves in the game. That's what they did through the first 45. Then comes the Delph sending off. And all of a sudden, you do get that chance, albeit through a Kyle Walker error. But that's Wigan's game plan from the get-go, and it worked perfectly. I read nothing more into it from a City perspective, and I give Wigan credit for doing as they set out to do and getting the result.